This episode is brought to you by SmartVestor. Connect with an investing pro near you at RamseySolutions.com/SmartVestor.
Sam is in Buffalo, New York. Hi, Sam. How are you?
Hi, Mr. Ramsey. Thanks so much for taking my call. Good afternoon. How are you, sir?
Better than I deserve. What's up?
So, Mr. Ramsey, I am looking for your permission to be able to spend money and live well while I'm young. Let me provide some context. My wife and I are both physicians. We collectively make a little under $500,000. Over the last 5 years, we've been living only off my paycheck and using her paycheck entirely towards her student loans. I did not have any student loans, so we had the luxury of doing that. We recently paid that off.
Yay! Way to go!
Yes, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you. We're very happy. So we have this new income, which we've never used before. For the most part, we live pretty conservatively. I drive the same car I did in residency, and we did buy another car as our family grew. We pay $500 a month on that, and we plan on paying it off by the end of this calendar year. Mr. Ramsey, more and more as I'm getting older, I'm 37.
You're
and I have 2
ancient.
kids.
I don't know how you get around.
And just trying to keep up with you, I suppose. I am. The people around us are getting old as well, and we look to them as examples, family and friends. And what I tell you is most of our closest family members are not living the retirement life they thought they would. My father passed away last year after about an illness that took him about a decade to sort of succumb to. Prior to that, over the decade, he was mostly non-ambulatory. My father-in-law was diagnosed with early onset dementia before the age of 60 and now is in a nursing home. So both my mother and mother-in-law are living lives that they never thought they would. And I look to them, and although the sample size is small, I worry about my wife and my health as we get older. As a physician, my paycheck is mostly guaranteed. I mean, I'm licensed in 3 states. If we lose my job, God forbid, it would not be very hard to find something soon. We have a little over $100,000.
What's your question, Drew?
My question is it okay to spend, say, $15,000, $20,000 a year traveling with my wife, creating memories?
You make $500,000.
Yes.
Of course it is.
Okay.
I don't teach people. I don't teach people to live in a cave and collect lint when they make $500,000, unless you're working on getting out of debt. But you didn't exactly sacrifice when you got out of debt. You were still living on $200,000 while you were getting out of debt.
And you got a car loan.
Sure.
And then you went and borrowed money to get a car.
Correct.
So pay the stupid car off, and not by the end of the year, dude.
Yeah. How much is it?
What do you make? You make like $40,000 a month. Jeez.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Yeah,
and
pay off the car. And go on vacation. And go on vacation. $15,000 worth 3 times a year.
And you don't, and let me also add to that, because there was a lot of like comparing to other people's lives and why, this is your life. Like your life is your life. This is your income. This is what you did about your debt. And this is how you're going to go on vacation. You don't have to justify it by all these kind of like woven in things that you were doing.
So you're a doctor. You see sick people all day long. Could that possibly skew your decision making? Of course it could.
100%.
Yeah. So, all you see is all these things. I'm a guy that helps people not avoid bankruptcy. So when I pull up to a stoplight and see a nice car, I see a car payment. I don't see a nice car. So, anyway, all that to say, yes, of course. We teach people baby step 1, $1,000. 2 is out of debt, everything but the house. That includes your car and your student loan. We're there now. Then baby step 3 is an emergency fund, 3 to 6 months of expenses. I'm guessing you have some money saved for an emergency.
Correct.
How much?
I do. Yeah. We have about a little over $100,000.
How much do you owe on the car?
$8,000.
Okay. Pay it off tonight when we get off the phone. Okay. Now, then you're 100% debt free except your house, right?
Correct.
Good. Okay. Now we've got an emergency fund. We're at baby step 4. Start putting 15% of your household income away towards wealth building and retirement. And then let's start paying off the house. But when you leave baby step 3 and you are debt free and have your emergency fund, we teach people to move from intense, which is where you don't go on vacation or out to eat, to intentional, which is where you do go on vacation and you do buy a nice car because you make freaking $500,000 a year. You need a good car. Don't drive a hoopty, and certainly don't put your wife in a hoopty. And so, you know, and so, yeah, you need to go, and you need to spend more than $15,000 on a vacation.
That's what I was going to say, but I didn't.
That's not much of a vacation for a guy who makes $500,000. Okay, you need to do. I want her in a Four Seasons,
put Waldorf
or St. Regis.
Something, yeah.
I want her enjoying this. Okay, which by the way is going to make you enjoy it.
I hope she is listening, because you were going to go take her to Marriott. I know you were.
Right. Yeah. Well, you know, after listening to you, I always want to cover my defenses. I want to make sure that we're able to pay for the kids.
You're in great shape. I just want you to do everything on purpose.
Yes,
That's
sir.
all I want you to do.
Yes, sir.
I want you to look at the whole picture and say, I have this much. If I put this much on a vacation, mathematically it's irrelevant.
Mm-hmm.
$15,000 to $30,000 on a vacation when you make $500,000 is 8% of your income. It's financially, mathematically irrelevant. You could take that much and burn it in the middle of the floor, and your life would not change.
Goodness, yes.
That's the way you need to learn to look at it. It's the burn it in the middle of the floor example, the ratios. Now, if you make $30,000 a year and you want to call me and say I'm going to spend $30,000 on a vacation intentionally, I'm going to say you're intentionally stupid. Mm-hmm. Don't do that, okay? Because that's 100% of your income. No, we're not doing that. But you know,
the hard part, I think, comes when it's something that clearly your wife values experiences. That's a love language, a spending love language she has. Clearly, it doesn't seem to really be yours, so it's probably harder for you to justify that amount. So looking at it through that lens should make it easier to say, hey, she values this. It's the mathematical side is still what Dave said, but if you can look at it and realize that, that's why you don't want to spend the money. It's not because you don't. It's not because it's too expensive. If
You're
that makes sense.
exactly right. And here's the thing: we need to make sure everyone hears the message more often, because he didn't get the message of live like no one else. So that
is the key conjunction.
You can live and give like no one else. I'll guarantee you that Sharon and I are leaving in 2 weeks on a 2-week vacation, and it wasn't $15,000.
I don't want to know how much it was. It's going to scare. Don't scare the people, Dave.
Live like no one else. And I'm not being snobbish, but I mean, I've worked my butt off for a long time now. I'm an overnight success, right? So, you know, it's an irrelevant amount of money.
Of course.
Mathematically in my life. But so live like no one else so that you can live and give like no one else. Increase your generosity too, people.
Thanks for tuning in to Ramsey Everyday Millionaires. Need help with your investments? Connect with a SmartVestor Pro at RamseySolutions.com/SmartVestor or click the link in the show notes. Ramsey Solutions is a paid non-client promoter of participating pros. Learn more at RamseySolutions.com/SmartVestor.